Hi, welcome to another NPT community class. I'm Sarah, and I'm going to be taking you through a progressive reformer class today. It's going to be a little bit more biased to extension work because I want us to explore the concept of elongation through the spine, through the crown of the head. And that is a reflection of alignment in our body and also what in today's society might mean a lot more work at a desk. So that forward flexion and coming into a little bit more play and finding a little bit more openness through the front of the chest, the pecs, getting a little bit more energized through the thoracic extensors. The repertoire is going to be as is. It's just going to be a little bit varied in a sense that we're going to explore how can we add a bit of extension, even in the warm-up category. So I just want us to explore that idea, enjoy today's class, and just practice mindfully when it comes to your body. Something doesn't feel right, please adjust accordingly, whether or not it's a spring load, or if you need to take a step back and just observe the exercise for today and work towards that exercise in the future. All right, well, let's get going. What you can see right now is I've already set up the long box onto the reformer, and I have one spring on, and I've gone for a light spring, so either a half spring or a one spring, depending on the strength here, as every reformer, each brand is a little bit different. All right, feet are going to be nice and parallel, and I want us to just take a moment to regain and find our bodies a little bit more. So we're just going to pop a hand on the chest, a hand on the belly, and we're going to close our eyes. Take a moment. Get a sensory feel of where we are in space. We'll start from the feet, feeling our toes. I want us to lift our toes, spread them apart in space, and then place them down. Getting a sense of the ball of the foot, the base of our big toe, the base of our pinky, and the middle of our heel. Those 3 points, your tripod stance. A little lift from the arches. Find the energy of pushing the floor away. Start to feel your legs like pillars holding you upright. There's the energy traversing up these legs. The pelvis, the spine, rib cage, shoulders, all settling in on top of each other within your neutral space. You feel unloaded, but got that little lift occurring. You want to feel space between your vertebrae. The head is on top. Careful. I know I'm guilty of this. My head tends to be a little bit forwards. Let's see if we can just pull the chins back a little bit more towards the back of the throat and find a little bit more elongation through our neck, our cervical. Let's take a deep breath in. Welcome to count. Try to count till 7. Here we go. Breath in. Feel the gentle rise. And then exhale. Feel the chest drop. Feel the navel draw in. 2 more diaphragmic breaths. Here we go. Breath in. Hold the breath in. And exhale. Try and squeeze out a little bit more air, particularly around the abdominals. See if you can find a little bit more connection to squeeze that last bit of breath out. Inhale, 1 more. And exhale. Taking that breath out, Really find the abdominal wall starting to pull away from your hand. Maintain that connection, that pull away. And then now take that breath to the sides of your ribs. Expanding through the intercostals, assisting the rib cage to expand to the sides and the back. And then as you exhale, feel how they wrap, contracting, wrapping back in. A breath into the sides, working into our lateral breath. And exhale. One more. Bringing the arms up. Finding that lift. Take a breath in. We go into a roll down. You're going to exhale. Draw the chin in. Find length through the cervical. So you're not just letting your head drop forwards. You're rounding now through the thoracic. And you're going to find yourself with your hands landing to the front of your box at the corners. Find your curve, your flexion through the spine. Keep the pelvis over the feet. We press away. We take a breath in to do so. As you do, find width and widen the sitting bones. Trickle up the spine and find your thoracic for a little bit more extension work. Hold, exhale, abdominals, pelvis draws under, curving into your flexion, including your eyesight. Look at your belly button. Inhale, we go out again. Think of this as a cat stretch. Widening the sitting bones, traverse up into that elongated spine. Create space in the vertebrae. Feel like your breastplate is pushing you forwards and up. Collarbones are broad. Exhale, scoop the tummy. Tailbone winds under. And inhale. Enjoy. Finding some mobility through the spine. And exhale. Try and keep those legs nice and strong. Pulling up the kneecaps. They are your pillars. They are holding you upright. However, if those hamstrings are a little bit tight, welcome to come into a little bit more of a micro bend. Rounding up, check that the shoulders haven't lifted, particularly on the round up. We hold. We roll up. And circle the arms to our sides. Lovely. Now, if you were on half a spring, I suggest you pop yourself onto one spring. I was left on one spring, so I'm going to keep it as is. We're going to come around. We're going to have a little sit down on our boxes. Feet are going to be on the headrest. You're going to scoot yourself down so your scapulars are to the edge of the bed. Now, hands go behind your head. Oh, my apologies. I should have switched this around. We're going to pop the foot bar a little bit further down. I had mine up before. All right, we're back at it. All right, scapulars are onto the edge. The reason for that was hands are going to go behind our head, and we are moving into thoracic extension here. So, trying to keep the pelvis nice and neutral and anchored on the box. Again, lumbar as well, thinking neutral, and finding that fold over the box through that upper spine region. Careful, you haven't let the chin drop down. You don't want to hyperextend into the cervical. Take a gentle breath in. Exhale. We come up through your chest lift. Using the upper abdominals, we find flexion through the upper spine, whilst maintaining a very neutral pelvis. We then come back through and work into our extension. Good, elbows are still wide. Careful we're not lifting by tugging the head up. Exhale. Hold. Breath in. Exhale back down. Let's do one more with this 2 breath count. And exhale up. I'll hold for a breath in, thinking laterally. And then exhale to lower. Now let's do another 3 with 1 breath count. Exhale up. So our tempo begins to pick up. Inhale down. That inhale will feel really good for the extension. And exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. We're going to move into hula next without breaking our pace. Here we go. Exhale up. Rotate into one side. Find the cross sling, but also the internal oblique to lift into that side. And we go back over the box between each hula. Exhale up. Ooh, this is already getting a bit spicy for a warm-up. And we go down. And again. And let's go for 2 more. Pelvis is nice and stable still. It hasn't rocked and gone to the same side as you. Ooh, nicely done. We're going to bring ourselves all the way up. Reach those arms forwards. Walking the hands up, assisting yourself. Lovely. So we're seated. We're going to wiggle back a little bit more so the feet are anchored into the headrest. Pop our hands into our straps. And we're going to just push the hands and settle with the arms in line with our body. Here we go. This is our elongation. Think about where we're seated. Sitting bones. And see if we can create a little bit more height through our body. Check the chin, the head alignment. And then start to open up the collarbones. Feel like they're almost spiraling up and over the shoulders. You're taut. The ropes are engaged. You've pulled away from your stopper. Where the back of the arms and the lats are already active in your start position. Exhale, find the lats, press back. Inhale to return. We'll do 3 more. Now I want you to change your breath. Reverse it. Inhale to push back. And just see what that does to your body. Whether or not that assists you in finding that little bit of extra lift and a little bit more engagement through the lats. We add chest expansion. So we're going to focus on the head movement as well. This goes all in one breath. Inhale, press the arms back. Look one way over the shoulder. Look the other way. Center the head. Return the arms. Oh, triceps are starting to burn. Here we go. And inhale, press. Now I want you to look the opposite direction that what you started off with. Return the head, return the arms. 2 more. Here we go. And note whether or not you may have a little bit more restriction on one side of the head movement. We're feeling maybe pretty equal, but it's okay if we're not. And center And this time, returning the arms forwards. Beautiful. Let's take these straps into the grooves of our elbows. So we're going into our rhomboid openings. Palms are facing to our face. Elbows hovered up to the height of our shoulders. Find our alignment. Be equal between the sitting bones. So let's get that set up correct. Good. Exhale. Span the elbows out to the sides. Hold. Yes, you're working the rhomboids, but be mindful not to press and squeeze the scapulars. You want to feel broad still, like the tips of your elbows are pointing to the sides of the room. Return, closing up. Kind of squeeze them in a little bit further. Let them touch. Open wide. Hold. We've got a set here. Enjoy. Feel the glide through the shoulder joint. Careful as we do a few of these, we might start to fatigue. Just check the setup again, whether or not those elbows need to lift up a little bit higher. Good, the lift of that abduction is through the delts and trying to keep the upper traps around the neck region a little bit settled. Let's do two more. Ooh, lovely. Whilst closing up, keep the back straps where they are. Just reach your hands down to grab the rope. There we go. And then the straps can fall down, but you've already got a grip around just above the buckles. Hands are going to be just a little bit wider than the knees. And we're moving into our roll back. Exhale, lower abdominals draw in. Roll under, thinking tailbone tucks under. Roll off the sitting bones. Eye gaze forward, lumbar touches down, breath in, and we roll forwards. Now go forward into that flexion. Find yourself on top of your sitting bones, and then lift up through the sternum. So here you're still away from the stoppers. We go again. Exhale, scoop the tummy. We roll back. Breath in. Roll forwards. Stack it tall. Aim for 4 more. Lifting tall. 2 more. And hopefully with each one, you might gain a little bit more mobility through the flexion by finding the engagement of the abs. Last one. And stacking up tall. We're going to pop the straps back down onto their little pegs. We're going to swing ourselves around. So we're going to be lying on our tummy. Legs extended, chest off. And popping the hands to the front of the box with the elbows out to the sides. All right. I want you to find a neutral position for your spine. So because we don't have the support of the box here at the front of our chest, we do need to find the thoracic extensors to assist with that elongation. Think long through the crown, through the spine in that neutral to the coccyx, which is still elongating long. And we're going to work into our legs first. We're going to bend them. Bend at the ankles and find our hip extensors. Here, we're going to maintain neutral pelvis. We're going to push the knees off the box to find the lower glute fibers and hamstring origin, the crease of your glute here, and then extend the legs out long in that active position. Beautiful. We bend them back in again and let the thighs come back down to the box. We go again. Find the hip extension. Careful that it doesn't go into your lower back. Your tail is still growing long. Reach long. And bend back in again. 2 more. Hamstrings are very warm. Here we go. Press up. Keep that engagement. Lengthen out. Bend back in. And press it up. Reach it long. Hold. Keep them long. Take a gentle breath in. Exhale. Prone breath. Wrap the abdominals. Next breath in, we go into our diamond press. Inhale. Good. Legs are still active, hopefully. Hamstrings are really firing up. Collarbones are broad here. We've pushed into the box for a little bit of assistance. Check the cervical. Chin is still drawn in a little bit. We lower ourselves back down again. This time, go into that flexion. Let yourself drop over the box. We go again. Inhale. Diamond press. Careful of the lower backs. Keeping the navel drawn in, abdominals wrapping to support it. Coccyx long. We lower back down again. Inhale up. And back down again. Now this time as you come back down, can you bend your legs back in? And we're going to add all of it together. Delightful. Here we go. First, start with the legs. Lift the knees off. Check the pelvis is still neutral. The tummy is drawn in. Lumbar is still neutral. Extend the legs. Extend the torso. Hold. Bend back in again. Lower yourself down. 2 more. Knees up. Find the hip extensors. Extend the legs. Extend the thoracic. Return. Last time. Find that lift, push into the box, open up the collars, and we bring ourselves all the way down. Great work. Coming off our box. We're going to pop the box away. And we're going to put the foot bar up. And we're going to load these springs up like you're doing your leg and foot work. Now, let's get a little bit of strength into these springs. I'm going to go for 3.5. I want to get our legs really working here. But choose accordingly, but I want a little bit of a challenge with those springs. Popping ourselves down, swinging our legs over, settle. Take a moment here to make sure we've got ourselves settled onto our carriage in alignment. And the first thing we're going to do is pop our hands onto the pens. Float, the legs up to tabletop. Squeeze the feet together, spine twist. Inhale. Exhale. We'll do 2 per side. Find the anchoring, the support of the other side of the shoulder and rib cage. 1 more. Return it. Extend the legs out straight. Slight external rotation. Careful of your range. A little tick-tock. Return. The lever is heavier. It's longer. One more per side. Definitely more challenging. Keep working and finding the obliques to assist. Hold. Bend the legs back. Pop the heels on. Popping the hands by our sides. We're going to push away. Finding the energy into the heels. Finding the back of the legs and the front. So think of this as a three-dimensional wrap through the whole legs. Pressing away. Pull up for the kneecaps. Draw yourself back in again. Keeping those legs active throughout. And press. And in. We'll do 8. Giving yourself a moment here as you're working through this. Keeping the pelvis heavy. Feeling the legs powering in, drilling into that pelvis. On to our last one. Pull back in again. Pop yourself onto your toes, parallel, and press away. And pull back in. And good. Think how the spine is settled into neutral. We shouldn't feel compressed with this work, as the legs are doing the support. Last one. Stay out. Pull the kneecaps in and up. Wrap the thigh bones. Find your external rotators around the lower glute region to squeeze the heels in together. So we're transitioning at the top. Pull ourselves back in again. You're in your V. Press away. Keep the heels engaged and pressing. And press. 4 and 3 and hold it out there. Pull the heels underneath the foot bar with control. Watch you don't just sort of drop down. Hold. Press back up again, but keep the heels connected. You're still in your turn out. And we lower. And right, so we'll do a few here. Really finding the metatarsals of the feet. Find the engagement into the foot bar. And then also find that real zip up through the body. Let's just do one more here. Rise up. Pivot the legs back to parallel. Good, so your alignment here again. So if you're checking, kneecaps are pointing up. We've got that gorgeous parallel position and we're in line with our sitting bones. And we're going to lower the heels down and rise back up. And so we've got a set here in parallel. Again, working slowly. Let's just do 2 more. Press back up again. Pull the knees back in. Carriage back in, I mean. All right, now let's go into a wide stance on the heels. Now, I want us to have a little bit of play here in regards to our setup up position. And I'm going to let you relax and allow your knees to drop out. Okay? So you might find that we're in quite a wide second plie position, but we've gone for our full range. Now, what I would like us to do is find some activity in our legs now. So think about lifting your knees from the floor, just a centimeter or two, nothing too much, but I want you to actively find your adductors to hover the knees up a little bit. And then think about drawing the thigh bones back into the pelvis. Keep that activity. So even though you're in that big turnout, adductors, the wrap, it's all happening. Press away. Pull back in. Here we go. Another 4. Let me make sure you go for your full movement here. And that we're careful as we go through this and we get a little bit more tired through the legs, that we don't start to ride the spring. Beautiful. Toes on. Keep going. Now, again, let go and then switch it on. Now, find your feet and push the metatarsals into the foot bar. So everything is alive. Press away. Pull back in. Four more. Pulling back in again. Lovely. We're going to come around. We're going to change some springs. We're going to go into our abdominal sequence. So let's change these springs around. We are going to move into one spring. If we want to start challenging ourselves, we could possibly go into a 1.5 spring, which I'm going to do for ease of transition, because the next thing we're going to do is legs and straps. So thinking about that as well, transitioning from one exercise to the next and being smooth with our spring load. So 1.5, but you can always drop down to the 1. Let's flip ourselves back on, pop ourselves back on, pop the hands into the straps, find the arms, suck them into the shoulders. I might wiggle away from my shoulder pads a little bit and then engage into my straps. So there, my hands are in line with my shoulders. They're active. We've pulled away from the stopper. One leg up, second leg, squeeze the feet, move straight into our hundreds regressions. Exhale, press the arms, lift up through the chest lift. Hold, energize those arms, see if you can find that thoracic. Give it a little bit more flexion. And we go again. And back. The legs, even though they are in tabletop, they are active. They're pressing the feet together. We're drawing the thigh bones into the pelvis. Last one, we're going to come up. We're going to hold here. Check in. Feel that breastplate sliding towards the pubic bone for that lift. Now, go legs slightly apart. Single leg stretch. Reach one leg long and squat. Try not to drop through the thoracic. Keep energizing into the straps. They're going to assist you to lift. Two more. Both knees in, feet together, lowering back down, but stay active. Don't go back to the stopper. Double leg. Here we go. Hundreds progression. How's that strongest spring? Got to work for it. Challenging. Last one. And without breaking, we're going straight into coordination. Here we go. Reach long like you're in your 100 position. Hold. Legs open just to the bed width. Return, squeeze. Pull in. And we roll. Again. Open, close. Abdominals. Draw those legs back in. And down. Let's go. 2 more. Well done. So seeing that how we can really work into challenging ourselves by not stopping between each exercise, progressively working and growing into those challenging exercises as we go, like a sequence. Beautiful. Legs and straps. Let's go. We push away, pop one foot in. We should still be on 1.5 springs if you already were on that with your abdominals. Otherwise, please change those springs to 1.5. Find our frog position. I'm kind of giving my own self a little bit of tactile feed just to sort of say, note whether or not I'm centered on my carriage here. Heels are together. Let's do that again. Drop the knees. Now find them a little bit. Draw them away from the floor just a little bit to find the adductors, and then suck and draw the thigh bones in. You're still in that external wrap, pulling into your pelvis. We're going to press out. We're only doing 4 frogs. Legs pull up. Again, think about the activity through the legs out, stretched as well as drawing in. And just being careful we're not riding here. Hold out. Find your openings, low openings. Work equally between both legs. Challenge it, go to a little bit of a deeper range. Hold, squeeze back in again. We're only doing 4 here, because now we're going to soon be adding them together. Squeeze those adductors. And here we go. Last one. Squeeze in, bend into our frog. Let's combine it together. Press out, energize, pull up through those knees. Find your wrap. Open out to the sides. Squeeze back in. And control the carriage as you bend back in again. Press away. We open. We close. And in. And press. So it's a little bit more in regards to coordination. And good. We're still noting that the pelvis remains neutral. Particularly as we draw those knees back in again, we don't press the lumbar down and let the coccyx lift. We want to secure the pelvis neutrally, anchored. Good. Keeping on going. We'll do just one more here. Press away. And we open. And squeeze. Okay. We are in a turnout. The knees are pulled up. Legs will lift to perpendicular if we can. There is the limitation of hamstring length here. I want you to go as far as you can without letting yourself drop into the lumbar or lift the sitting bones off. So you can see here, I've kind of let the straps do the work for me and I've kind of lost it a little bit. So I'm going to get myself back in, and this is where I want to live. There. Lower back down and back up. The more the legs lift, the more you got to think about sitting bones growing long, elongating. Just do one more. Press it down. I want you to hold it there, and I want you now to go into parallel. Feels a little bit different. So your heels, your insteps are touching of your feet, big toes and heels. I'm really feeling my adductors when I do this one. And then we're going to press through those hamstrings back down. Ooh. Hello, inner thighs. As the legs lower, the abs are really drawing in. We're watching that we don't arch into our backs. Insteps are still pressing in. Let's go for another 2. And another 1. Legs come up. Hold. Adductor stretch. Enjoy. Good. Deep breaths. Try and manage a neutral pelvis and a neutral spine still. Carefully start to bring the legs together. Bend. We'll take them off one strap at a time. Bringing them back in. Great work. Right, let's pop ourselves off to the side. We're coming into some hip flexion work. I'm remaining on 1.5 sprints. Here we go. So we're going to pop ourselves up. We're going to tuck those toes under, bring those feet back to the shoulder pads. We're going to settle with the hands onto the foot bar. And we're going to start here by bringing the pelvis up, and we're moving straight into our down stretches. So even here, before we even start, the extensors have really fired up. So think hip extensors. Abdominals are lengthened, but still drawn in. And our thoracic is starting to lift us to look up, up, up the wall. Keep your shape. You're like a little rocking chair. You're going to energize those hands into the foot bar and sweep back up. Think push through the back of the legs into the shoulder pads. So points of contact, right? Foot bar and shoulder pads. And up. Good, let's aim for 3 more. Eye gaze still travels up, and keep that eye gaze up as you go down. So to watch you don't drop your head, still look down to the floor. And sweep it up. Oh, sit back. Coming up to a standing position to start on our up stretch too. So holding onto the foot bar, popping ourselves up, heels 3/4 of the way. Finding ourselves in our pike position. Now careful here. You want to be really mindful about not dropping into your pike. So you can see that where my pelvis really sits back and I've dropped my chest to the floor. I'm not active in this position. I want my pelvis to be on top of my legs, and I want to find the foot bar and energize through my shoulders to really wrap and push up. Find your serratus here. All right. Again, spinal elongation, the crown to the tail, one beautiful line. We press away. We use the back of the legs, the heels press into the shoulder pads. We pivot around the shoulder joint. Your eye gaze is at the foot bar. Watch it's not forwards of the room. We hinge through the hips, returning the carriage. We go again. We press away. Pivot through the shoulders. Keep that strength of pushing the arms into the foot bar. We lift. Using the abs to draw ourselves back in again. 3 more. We press out. Hold. Find yourself in your plank position. Find the crown, find the tail. Watch we haven't over-tucked either. I want a really neutral spine here. Keep going for me. Let's go. And we press. And back. Last one. Good. Think about the breastplate. Press it up between the shoulder blades. Find your length. Return. Drop the heels down. Keep the pelvis right over the legs and the heels. And find our elephant position. Again, we haven't dropped the head. We found that length. The head is part of our spine length. Anchor the heels and give me a tiny little imprint into those abs. We press away. Elephant, the very subtle movement. It's little but mighty. How much more depth in the lower abs can you create by using your breath? Last one. Love it. Let's hop off. Let's bring our foot bars down. We are going on one strong spring. We're moving into skating prep. All right, remembering, safety first here, standing on the solid, stable bit of our reformer, and we prop ourselves up. Align the big toes up, they're nice and level. The insteps are to the edges here of our reformer. Hands will be on hips. No, I do apologize. My head's a bit chopped off here, I gather. But fear not, you're going to bend those knees. So find your upright position, just like we did at the beginning of class. Your legs are your pillars, right? Pelvis, rib cage on top, head on top. I want you to now to bend your knees so your knees track over your toes. And you're going to imagine like you're sliding down the back wall. So you haven't hinged through the hips. So if ever you're lucky enough to have a little bit of a mirror, you're able to see that, well, I'm still very much neutral here. My plumb line or my longitudinal little axis is in between my legs. I want to maintain that. This side of that axis stays still. We press out by an inch. I want you to hold it there. So you're switched on. This is your start and finish point. We don't go back to the stopper. This is going to load us quite strongly, very quickly. Press the leg away. Really pull up through the kneecap and watch we haven't poked a hip. Stay level. Hands on the hips for a bit of that tactile feedback. Thigh bone wraps to pull back in just to that start point we talked about, not to the stopper. Press away. Hold. Yes, I'm working slow. Pull back in, still with a bit of spring resistance. We go again. Press. And in. And we're working here at this pace and that constant load of spring. We don't need to do too many before we start to really fatigue and feel it. And hold and in. Let's go. Last one. Press. Go, 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 go. Push that leg out. Hold it there. Check we haven't dropped anything. Everything else is still over that standing side. Coming up. Careful. Stepping back. Walking ourselves around. My apologies. My back will be to the camera, but a different angle for us to observe. All right. Foot bar on the platform, on the stable bit. Foot on the stable bit. Popping ourselves on, equal with the toes. checking in for alignment, nice and upright, neutral for the spine and pelvis. Bend the knees, tracking them just over the toes. Hold. Find your axes. Make sure it's between the legs, but find grounding through that platform leg. We press away. Wrap and pull the kneecap up. I want full extension of the leg. And now as you wrap and pull it back in again, careful we don't go aim and crash into that stopper. Keep it a little bit away from the stopper. We go again. Press, press, press. Hold. And wrap back in again. Good. And hold. And pull. And hold. Working on some strong springs. Really wants to fight back. So challenge it. Press. Push, hold. And draw it back in. This time all the way in and coming up. Careful, stepping back. Love it. Let's keep moving. Let's grab our boxes. Short boxes. Pop a few more springs on so the carriage is stable. Let's have a little sit down. There we go, feet into our strap. Now, we're moving straight into flat back tilts. So here, crown, sitting bones. Take this opportunity just to stack the body up to that neutral position and feel that little extra lift, a little bit more space. Hands go behind our heads. Press the back of the head into the hands. Keep the elbows wide. We inhale, we tip. Exhale to return. Few tremors. We go again. We'll do 5. We want to maintain a very neutral spine as you tip back. So you're pivoting, you're hinging from the hips. And return. Careful you don't dip backwards into thoracic extension. So I want you to keep the upper abdominal still engaged. And returning. Last one. Legs are engaged into the straps as well. Hold. Straight into our tilts. Find your legs first, so making sure they're active, they're switched on, because we definitely need them for this exercise. Hands back, we rotate. We're going to rotate to the camera. Here we go. Now, you're going to lead like a plank of wood to the side. So careful we haven't laterally flexed in either direction. We lead. The pelvis is going to tilt as well, and you're going to find your legs in your straps and challenge the position and bring yourself back up again. Let's go. Twist first. Then we go. We angle ourselves to that far corner, keeping both sides of our waistline level. Find the tip. Watch the crown. You've still got an elongated position, right? Wrap up. Whew. Let's go. Twist. We tip. Find your legs, your psoas on the opposite hip, lengthening but supporting. Pull yourself back up again. Whew. Last set. Tip. Watch for any hip hoiking. And return. So I'm applying that little lift up, right? We want to keep the distance between the hip bones and the rib cage the same on both sides through that exercise. Oh, I'm toasty. Strap toes down, let's hop off, let's go long box. We're almost there. All right, moving into backstroke. So we're going to be changing the springs around here to 1 or 1.5. All right. We're going to be grabbing onto our straps, holding on. And we're going to have a little sit down on our boxes here. And then we're going to wiggle ourselves down, scapulas to the edge of the box. And then just do a little bit of adjusting, a little bit more. Yes, that feels better. Beautiful. Legs will come up to tabletop. Create a diamond shape through the arms with a fist pressing together. And you're going to lift up into your chest as much as possible, like you're peering in between your diamonds here. Pressing the feet together, anchoring through that tabletop as well. We're ready to begin. Lots happening on an inhale. Here we go. Inhale, arms, legs to perpendicular. There we go. Separate. Oh, cool. And you're going to now squeeze and hold in that long 100 position. And then you're going to exhale as you drive yourself back into your start position. We go again. Inhale. 1. Separate. 2. 3 for your circle. Hold. Hold. And exhale in. Ooh, here we go. And inhale. Reach. Separate. Circle. Go, go, go. Pull. Wrap up for those abdominals. And pull back in. Let's go for 1 more. And arms reach up, breath in, separate. Keep breathing in. Squeeze a hold. Exhale, pull it back home. Hold. Beautiful. Challenging. Popping ourselves back up and down. Finally moving into some extension work. With our extension work, keep in mind what we did in our warm-up, because I want us to think about the way we started and the way we finish. So we're going to move into pulling straps. Now, mind you, choose the spring that works best for you. I'm going to drop mine down to 1 if you've had yours at 1.5 for your breaststroke. So your backstroke. My apologies. We're going to pop ourselves onto our tummy. Chest up off. Ah. Settle. Let's hold on to our straps. And just above the buckles. And pop our torsos down. Now, we're going to move into pulling straps 1. So find the legs, keep them nice and active. Arms to the outer frame. Exhale, lifting through your thoracic, sweeping the arms and lifting them up past our bodies. Hold. Sweep them back. Can I get 2 more of these? And collarbones are broad, check the neck, and lower ourselves back down. Great. I'm going to add a little bit more to this. Bend the knees. Flex through the ankles. Might recognize this. All right, tummy pulled in. Now, first thing, find your hip extensors by just hovering the thighs up. Careful, you haven't gone into your lumbar. It's all hip extensors. Tummy's drawn in. Exhale, sweep the hands, extend the legs. So find the whole extensors through the whole body, thoracic, behind the hamstrings and hip extensors. Sweep it back, lower down, bend the knees. And knees up as we pull, extend, and draw ourselves back in. And down. Knees, find that lift for the thighs, neutral for the pelvis, and extend, sweep. And down. Hopefully those legs are remaining together. And knees, and find your extension. Hold it. Bend the elbows. You need 6 triceps. And all the way down. Ooh. Popping the straps down. Bringing ourselves off the box. Taking the box away. Popping foot bars up. Still on one spring. Happy with that. Popping ourselves down. Bringing both feet up against the shoulder pad. We're going to move into a little bit of a lunge. This time round, foot goes up to the foot bar. You are doing your kneeling lunge. However, if this feels a little bit too excessive for the front knee, pop it down on the platform. You can do it there. Square those hips up, shoulders. Take a moment to feel that extension. Almost feel like that moment of a down stretch. Push the carriage away a little bit. Staying there. And then using the front leg, we start to press away into the hamstring stretch. Let the heel draw underneath the foot bar. And at the same time, feel the suction of the thigh bone back into its pelvis. So you're kind of squaring up as much as possible. Bend back in again. We'll do that side one more time. Press the carriage away for a hip flexion stretch. Navel drawing in. Think a little bit more through the extensors for a lift for the body. And then front leg, heel draws under. Find your hamstring length. Welcome to push the carriage a little bit further away if you want to challenge it a little bit more. And then pulling yourselves back in again, ready to swap over. All right, again, choosing your option here, whether or not it's the foot bar or down on the platform. Squaring up. Find your little lift. Push the carriage away a little bit. Chest is proud. Press through the front leg. Heel draws under. Pull yourself back in again. Lift, 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 lift. Press away. And one last time. Heel draws under. Square the hips up. See if you can push the carriage back a little bit more. Hold it. Check the shoulders for tension. Deep breaths. And pull yourself back up. Up, 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 up. Lift, 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 lift. Love it. Pop the foot down. Fantastic. Well done, guys. Hopefully, as you can see, a little bit more bias into that extension work. Now we're feeling a little bit more open and a little bit more lifted through our bodies. So hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.